morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our Child Nutrition webinar. My name is Colleen Fillmore, and I am the Idaho State Department of Education Child Nutrition Director. The state agency team is here with me today to provide updates and answer questions you have during this COVID-19 time, and also as we are quickly moving into our summer months. It's hard to believe that this next Monday is going to be June. So again, thank you for your continued work in feeding Idaho's children. If anyone listened to the webinar yesterday with Superintendent Ybarra and 5 other superintendents, child nutrition was featured several times with superintendents across the state in what a wonderful job you're doing. So if you did not get a chance to listen to that, we would recommend that you go out to the Idaho State Department of Education YouTube account, subscribe to that account, and you can listen to that webinar. It was about an hour long, and I think you will be just really thrilled to hear how much child nutrition is appreciated and everyone across the state realizing the great work that you're all doing. Also, thank you again for continuing to send in the pictures. We are just having so much fun looking at this. The Nurses Association asked if they could share these pictures to show what a great job all of you are doing. So again, we're all very proud of you. So our agenda today is that I will again do some updates and resources. We haven't had a lot happen, so I don't have a lot to share, but we will share what we can. Then Mary Ann will talk about summer food. Heather will talk about some NSLP training topics. TJ will talk about some USDA Foods topics, and then we'll go ahead and start answering the questions that are submitted during this webinar. So we do appreciate that everyone filled out the survey from at the end of last week's webinar, and due to the results, we are going to not have a webinar next week on June 4th, but we will have another webinar on June 11th, and we'll see what the participation is there. We have seen the participation steadily go down during these, and already it looks like the participation is about half this week of what it was last week. So we realize everyone's busy, and if the need is not there, we will back away a little bit. But we promise we will adjust the frequency of these webinars as needed going forward. So if we feel that less are needed, then we'll go that direction. But if something comes up that people have questions, we are happy to, again, schedule some of those more often. So the Idaho State Department of Ed, we continue to wait to hear back from USDA on the 2 date extension waivers that we submitted. It seems like we submitted them ages ago. It's probably only been a few weeks, but as a friendly reminder, we brought this up on past webinars. It's the area eligible and the on-site monitoring webinars that we have asked for extensions on, and we have not heard back from USDA. Again, we promise we will share that once we do hear. And we, again, as a reminder, have some handouts on this webinar. There is one new handout that we put on this webinar from Team Nutrition. Team Nutrition has some wonderful resources, and so we have added that up there for you. So that is all the information I have at this point. Continue to put questions in, and I will hand the screen. Well, actually, she's not going to have a screen, but I'll hand it over to Mary Ann right now to talk about summer food.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Colleen. Good morning, everyone. This is Mary Ann Libby. I hope you all are doing fabulous on this Thursday and had a relaxing weekend where you were able to charge your batteries. As most of you guys know, we sent out a broadcast email on Tuesday of just some reminders for the summer feeding program and operation this summer. And so I wanted to just do a verbal reminder in case you have not come across that broadcast email, and of course, reminding you in case you might have any questions regarding the broadcast email during this webinar. So the first thing is we wanted to remind everyone that the summer feeding training for your staff members are still required during this non-congregate feeding operation we're doing, and so please make sure to conduct that. We understand that physical distancing is a concern, so you can certainly utilize and share the online training materials we've uploaded on the CNP digital learning portal to your staff members. So that is also an option for you guys to share with them. The second reminder I wanted to do is for the checklist summary for your SFSP packet. The health department notification, intent to operate, public release, and the certification memo must be completed prior to your start of the summer feeding program after school ends. So please make sure to upload that on the attachment list section on My Idaho CNP. The second reminder I wanted to do is the offer versus serve. Dominique and I have been pretty diligent in double checking all of the sponsors' packets on My Idaho CNP and ensuring that the option of offer versus serve is not selected. But again, as a reminder, offer versus serve is not an option during the non-congregate feeding waiver that we are in, and that is in effect until August 31st, 2020. The next reminder is the second meals during non-congregate feeding waiver. We touched upon this sometimes in April, and we wanted to do a reminder to everyone that second meals is not allowed during the non-congregate feeding waiver that we are in. And again, that is in effect until August 31st. The next reminder is regarding the meal pattern. This is the Child Response number 24 policy memo you received from the state agency, and it is the nationwide waiver to allow meal pattern flexibility in the child nutrition program's extension. We wanted to remind everyone that this extension remains in effect until June 30th. We have not heard anything about an extension further than June 30th, but if and when we do, we'll be sure to share that with everyone. The next one is in regards to the area eligibility state waiver request. This waiver allowed for sponsors to operate in non-area eligible locations during COVID-19 pandemic. And this waiver is in effect until June 30th. So, and as Colleen mentioned, we did place an extension waiver to USDA, and we have indicated the date of September 30th. And as Colleen mentioned, we have not heard back from Western Region, but as soon as we do, we will let you know. But as of right now, this waiver is only in effect until June 30th. And then the last one that we've received quite a few questions about the past couple of weeks is in regards to the Child Nutrition Response number 10 policy memo, and it's about the nationwide waiver of on-site monitoring requirements for sponsoring organization in the summer food service program. As you all know, under program regulations, sponsors must visit each of their new sites or sites that had serious deficiencies from the previous summer at least once during the first week of operation. Additionally, sponsors must review food service operations at each site at least once during the first 4 weeks of operation. This is also when sponsors must complete the racial and ethnic data for participating children. However, FNS and the CMP team recognizes that in this public health emergency, suspending the on-site monitoring is vital to support social distancing while providing meals. And so we did receive that waiver for sponsoring organizations to conduct the monitoring off-site. So this really means is that sponsors are still required to complete the monitoring requirements, but instead of doing it on-site during meal service, it can be done off-site as a desk review. And again, this waiver is in effect through June 30th. However, we've requested an extension for this, and as mentioned earlier, as soon as we hear something back, we will let all of the sponsors know. But as of right now, this waiver is in effect only through June 30th, 2020. So that was my last reminder for everyone. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to indicate that in this webinar or shoot the summer feeding team an email or give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to help clarify these reminders that I just mentioned. So with that, I would like to pass it on to Heather. Thanks, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. So we're going to talk a little bit about MSLP annual mandatory training. And with that, I'd like to show you the list of courses that are going to be available online. And so you can see from my screen here that we have a grid that indicates which courses are going to be required as part of the annual mandatory training subset. So some of these are currently available online already. The Civil Rights 2020 training has been available for quite some time. And then we have new courses that are coming online currently, as well as will be available starting Monday, June 1st. And some of the ones that are currently available in the CMP training portal for registration are the eligibility determination, NSLP benefit issuance verification. Other trainings are going to be continuing coming on the rest of this week in time for a launch date of Monday, June 1st. And you essentially have all summer to take these online trainings, as well as into August, because we're not going to be having any in-person trainings this year. All our training will be entirely online. So make sure that you have someone designated to take these courses in addition to the food service director, because the information really is helpful for those who are doing these different functions in the job. And so we have free and reduced application staff. There are trainings specific to them, menu planning staff, training specific to them. There's even some trainings that others in your district could benefit from in the case of the civil rights. Hopefully everyone knows and remembers that the hearing official, the person listed in your NSLP renewal application as your hearing official, is required to take civil rights training. And business officials could benefit from the resource management training. So there's trainings that will be online that the food service director is required to take all of these in conjunction with having other staff members take it. And there are some optional trainings, not optional in the sense that you can take them or leave them, but optional in the sense that if you're operating the program, you need to take it. If you're not operating the program, then you don't. So some sponsors don't offer breakfast. Feel free to not take the breakfast training if you're not offering breakfast. However, if you're offering breakfast, you need to take that training, as well as the OBS at breakfast and after school snack program. If you're operating an after school snack program, make sure you take this training. Special milk, provision to breakfast, community eligibility, and lastly, administrative review. So these are the trainings that we have available. This list will be sent out via email on Monday so that anybody who's looking to start taking training for the upcoming school year can review what is available online. And we will definitely be sending reminders that training is up and coming, and we'll be communicating more about that via email. So that's all I had, and I'm going to hand it over to TJ. Thank you all so much. Hope you are having a wonderful week.
Thank you, Heather. We just wanted to quickly revisit USDA Foods. I know we've talked a lot in the last few weeks about implementing and using USDA Foods in your meal service program. What we are learning is that many school districts are now sort of winding down. Some are consolidating the sites where they're serving those meals. So the reminder is simply to, if you find yourself in a situation where you have some concerns about maximizing the food use that you have, there are a couple of decisions that need to be made. One, can you store foods over the summer and be prepared to use those USDA foods in your initial meal service starting in the fall? And of course, we're all sort of on pins and needles about what does that even look like, in terms of, will my district be a hybrid? Will we be serving kids regular meals? Are we going to be doing meals in the classroom? All of those unknowns make it very difficult to have a plan. So I would suggest that when it comes to your USDA foods, have plan A and have a plan B, and you might even consider a plan C. We want you to be able to take advantage of the foods that you have earned. Those foods are earned through entitlement and meals served. So we don't necessarily want you, to find you giving those foods away. But if part of your plan for inventory management has to be that you will not be able to utilize all the foods that you're currently holding, do remember that you can donate those foods to any 501c3. That means it is a nonprofit organization in your community. Many food banks would be more than willing to come and pick those foods up from you if you simply know that you will not be utilizing them. We have had a couple of schools reach out to us, and we've actually been able to facilitate some case transfers of foods that aren't being used at one school district, but another school district that is still serving meals, serving hot meals, and they were more than willing to take the products that another school was willing to give up. So if the state agency in any way can help facilitate that, we're happy to do so. But you know your community. Many of you have residential care institutions in your communities. Typically, an RCCI will serve meals year-round, and so they may be willing and able to help you if you have foods that you cannot use. So just keep that in the back of your mind, because there are costs associated with holding products, just as there may be costs for giving up those products. So we just want you to think about your USDA Foods in terms of a financial concept and what makes the most sense right now for you. Every district is in a different place. And if you need additional information or need to discuss maybe your plans with the USDA Foods team, we're happy to do so. Make sure that you send us an email to USDA Foods team. That is foods with an S, team. It's all one word, USDA Foods team at SDE.idaho.gov. And we're happy to see if we can help you utilize your foods and or move them to a location that could be best served. The other thing that I wanted to mention is if you know of direct challenges, maybe you're hearing some communications in your district about a model that is maybe moving forward in terms of how you'll be feeding students in your specific area, and that presents a challenge to you in terms of USDA Foods, please let me know. I'm in constant communication with other state agencies across the nation, and our hope is to be able to share with USDA what those challenges could be like coming fall. Are there going to need to be more flexibilities in the way we can cancel truckloads or move delivery dates and those kinds of things? So I really appreciate any input you might have from your perspective about challenges moving forward. And then I did want to let everyone know USDA is releasing some bonus food items, which are typically well received from our school districts because they require no entitlement value. And those foods this fall look to be more fruit items, more individually packaged. Right now we're hearing about the frozen strawberry cups. We're hearing about the individually packaged 4-ounce orange juices in cups and cartons. And so as a state agency, we always want to be able to take advantage of those bonus items. And we have been in communication with our storage partner. They are making sure that storage will be available. So watch for those items. We will be revising the exchange document with newly available items. And if you are a school district that participates in cash in lieu, you can take advantage of those bonus items. So those are sort of the updates that we have in terms of USDA Foods. Just thank you again. I look at the pictures that are being provided and I recognize USDA Foods being served in hot meals, pears being served out in clamshells, and we just really appreciate how creative and useful you've all been in making sure that students are still getting meals that will help them function and be able to feel good about their ability to do their schoolwork and be productive members of society. So thank you all so much for the work that you do. And with that, I will turn back over the time to Colleen for our question and answer period. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, everyone. That was very good information. Okay, so it looks like we only have 3 questions, and 2 of the 3 look very similar. So if you have any questions, please submit them as soon as possible. We don't want to end the webinar before you have a chance to submit a question. So the first question is, what is the best website to direct our families to find summer food serving sites near them? And so Dominique, you want to take that one?
Yes, thank you, Colleen. Good morning, everyone. The best website to direct families to find summer food serving sites is actually our State Department of Education Child Nutrition Program website. If you click on Department of Education Child Nutrition, on that page you will see a big red button that says Feeding Site Locator. Since March, we have been mapping all of the feeding sites throughout the state. And when you click on that button, you will see a Google map with little balloons on all the sites around the state. And that is the best resource for your families to click on to find locations near them. Thank you.
So, and Dominique, isn't there a USDA website that they can also check starting next week that will have information?
Yes, absolutely. Every year, the summer food team submits feeding sites to the Summer Food Rocks. If you type in Summer Food Rocks, there's a feeding site locator that has all of the feeding sites, all of the summer feeding sites in the state, and actually all of the sites around the country. And we have submitted our first data this week, and it will be posted on Friday, which is tomorrow. That will only show the summer food feeding sites, but that will be maintained throughout the summer.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that, Dominique.
I wanted to add to, in regard to that location that Dominique was just talking about, sponsors can let their participants know by to utilize the texting mechanism by texting food, FOOD, to 877-877. And so then the end user will be provided with information regarding the site finder.
Great, thank you for adding that. I do want to let our audience know that the state agency child nutrition team have spent a lot of time with the map and having it be updated, and we know that people are using it throughout the state. So we're really happy to provide that tool, and I think it's been very useful. So thank you for that question. Okay, so the next 2 questions are very similar. So I'm going to read the top one, and then Marianne, I'll give this to you. I'm not sure that the question is, I am not sure that I understood this or not. The racial ethnic data report for summer, are we supposed to do that as a desk review? If yes, how? So Marianne, you want to take that one?
Yes, thank you so much, Colleen. And this is such a great question. This is one that has come up for Dominique and myself the past couple of weeks, and so I'm really glad that that this was asked. To answer the question is yes, sponsors must complete this requirement. The state agency, what we recommend is for your staff members who are doing the physical distribution of meals to participants is to mark for children who are present and obtaining the meals from the staff members. For the meals that are picked up by a parent or a guardian and the child is not present, either do not mark for the meal or meals, or if it's a parent or a guardian that your staff members knows and knows their child, then you can mark on the data accordingly. The state agency definitely understands that this is a rather unique way of doing the ethnic and racial data, so please do the best that you can. And so then your assigned monitor or the monitor for your program will complete the rest of the site review form as a desk review. So great question, and thank you so much for asking that.
Thank you, Marianne. Okay, so the last question that we have is, I have not yet received the survey to tell the state how much I have allocated to DoD Fresh. Will that be coming soon? TJ, you want to take that one?
Yes, thank you for the question. And it does appear that unfortunately there was some miscommunication in terms of this particular individual not receiving the survey, as that survey was sent out in February, and the results had to be communicated to USDA for loading the entitlement into the favor system by April 1. So I have advised the person to go ahead and send an email to USDA Foods team at sde.idaho.gov, or feel free to call me directly, and we'll do some research as to where the email went and discuss the specific options around continuing allocations, because there are other opportunities to allocate funds to DoD. So thank you for the question, and we're certainly willing to help you resolve that and get your money to DoD. Thanks, Colleen.
Yeah, thank you, TJ. Okay, so next question, does that ethnic data need to be done through COVID-19 school year feeding we just went through? So Marianne, looks like you answered yes, but is there anything else that you would like to add to that?
Nope, it's pretty straightforward. We've gone this question as well, and to answer the question is yes, you do have to complete that during the operation, during the unanticipated school closure or before your last day of school. Thanks, Colleen.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you, Marianne. Okay, next question. Can you please confirm the texting number again? Text the word food and then a number. Is that correct? So Marianne, I'll let you take that one because I think you're the one that provided that info.
Yeah, and I just replied or answered that question. So it's, I put testing, but I meant to type texting food, FOOD, to 877-877. Thanks,
Okay,
Colleen.
very good. Yeah, thank you, Marianne. Okay, so we do not have any other questions. So state agency team, is there anything that you can think of that we should add that we haven't at this point? Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Well,
this is Colleen.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, this is Dominique. Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound great.
Okay, good. I just wanted to jump in. I received some information from a sponsor that I wanted to share with everyone. As you summer food operators are beginning to plan normal summer food.
Dominique, you're Dominique, you're coming in and out. We can't really hear you. For some reason, you're coming in and out.
Is this better?
Yes, that sounds much better. Thank you.
Okay. It's just a reminder to sponsors that are planning their summer food program operations. During the summer, many sponsors collaborate with other organizations to, say, one site provides breakfast and then they walk to a park to receive a lunch meal that another sponsoring organization is operating. Please, we want to remind sponsors, many sponsors this year are utilizing breakfast and lunch combined, providing both meals at one time. And if you are planning on trying to bring your children to another site, if you provide breakfast, but you walk your kids over to another site that provides lunch, and they are serving two meals, that is not going to be allowed this summer. So when you collaborate with other sponsors on where you're bringing your kids, if you go to parks for meals, it's important to make sure that no more than two meals are being served to these children each day. And I know this is another tangle, but it is something that has come up due to the uniqueness of the situation this year. And if you have questions, please contact the state agency and we can get you connected with other directors to make sure your planning goes smoothly.
Yeah, great input, Dominique. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Colleen, this is Linda. Can I just remind everybody that renewal is now open, and even though we're in COVID, this is for the next school year. And we are starting to approve applications. So remember to put in your renewal for the next school year and submit it for approval. There are a lot out there that are in process but haven't been submitted yet. That's it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, great reminder. Okay, team, anything else? Okay, and it looks like that is all the questions. So again, thank you so much to everyone for your hard work. As a reminder, we will not have a webinar next week, but we will the week after that, June 11th. And so an invite will be coming out for that if it hasn't already. And so we appreciate everyone's hard work, and the updated Q&As and the webinar will be on the governor's website. So thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day and upcoming weekend.